You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting nerds, and come on, won't you sing with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk again, what we got for fans. Gonna put their knowledge to the test. Gonna laugh and eat, gonna live the dream. Gonna show you things you've never seen. Gonna sing the song to the break of dawn. Gonna run this party all night long. So come on everybody, let me see you dance. Get yourself ready for one more chance. You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting nerds, and come on, won't you sing with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Hey,
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the PlayStation Collectors Podcast, Season 2, Episode number 18. And today we welcome Marty to the show. Welcome, Marty.
Thanks very much for having me, Dixie.
So, Marty, for everyone who doesn't know you, please tell us who you are, what you do, and what you collect.
Okay, so I'm a YouTuber who does gameplay videos predominantly, but I'm also a very big collector. I'm quite a hidden collector, really. Not many people. I'm not out there showcasing my stuff, but I've got a pretty large collection. And I haven't made myself public before about that, really.
it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Anything particular like you collect, or just kind of a little bit of everything, or?
Yeah, pretty much everything, but I'm a Nintendo fanboy mainly, but every console is covered by me. I love to play everything. So same with my channel. It's just gameplay videos of games from all sorts of consoles, and they usually just the ones that I own. Pretty much everyone is just, I'm going through my library and just trying to play through everyone, mostly completing them, so there's a full gameplay, unless they're just absolute trash, And don't get me wrong, I do have a high threshold for trash. I do play my fair share of crap games, but some are just like, oh, this is going to take you 100 hours for a crap game. No, you could have a 20-minute demo video for that.
Well, sometimes it's important to see a 20-minute video of a game and be like, maybe I don't want to spend $30 or $40 on this crap game.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I do modern, old, just whatever I feel like playing. So I don't do any specific genre or category, just any game that's on my shelf or just in my to play later list on Switch or PC or PS4,
Cool. So you use all real hardware when you stream. You don't use any emulation.
Always.
Awesome.
Always, yeah.
Cool.
Unless it's impossible. So I will be having a Marble Madness 2 video coming up. I played that 2 nights ago, and I had to use an emulator for that because it wasn't released.
Yeah.
It was an arcade game anyway. It was an arcade game anyway. But yeah, it came out last year. The prototype was found, and it was an absolutely complete game of Marble Madness 2.
Oh, that's cool. I actually love Marble Madness.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I played that all the time. Stressful, but really fun.
Yeah, it's really short as well. It's about 5 minutes for the whole game. I'm talking about the NES version anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, 5-minute game, but lots of fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome when things like that pop up in the community, like when the N64 community got Star Fox 2 unofficially released like 20 years later and things like that.
Oh yeah, well that was the SNES version. The N64 had Dinosaur Planet. Star Fox Adventures on the GameCube.
Yeah.
It was originally a game called Dinosaur Planet that was going to be released on the N64. That recently got leaked. So I don't know if you were thinking of that because the Star Fox connection.
I think they just made it into an N64 shape when it got released, and that's why I associated it with N64.
Yeah, because Star Fox 2 is actually on the SNES Mini, isn't it? They released it with it, the complete version of it.
Yeah. How awesome is that? Like again,
Yeah, I can't believe they did that. That's brilliant. You know, especially Nintendo and how they like to hide their ROMs from the public.
So I hope there's more of this, like, you know, revival of stuff we didn't get, and I hope they do a lot more, like, you know, incomplete games and they complete them. And I like the trend too. I've been seeing where they've been releasing some games that never got Western releases with Western translations finally, like those 2 Rhapsody games that come out. I hope a lot more of that starts happening too, because you know, hey guys, it's easy money. You don't have to make a new game. All you gotta do is translate it, slap a fresh coat of paint on it, slap and release it over in the West, and you'll have a whole audience here. Because, you know, maybe back then it wasn't gonna sell well, but I bet it does now. I bet the hunger for JRPGs now is insane.
Yeah, I was just thinking Earthbound. Jason nailed it. Like, imagine an Earthbound 1, 2, 3 collection on PS5 and Switch. Like,
yeah,
how awesome is that?
You know how my first play of Earthbound was on the Wii U, so they'd have actually done some copies, but Nintendo needs to do a better service on their retro stuff, because the Virtual Console on the Wii was excellent, but now you can't play those games. They're stuck on the Wii. Same with the Wii U. They did a good job, but it was awesome. Re-releasing games they'd already released on the Wii instead of transferring the games from your Wii account. You have to buy them again fresh.
Yeah, that was evil.
Really, they need a game launcher for ROMs. I think something like Steam or something. Just Nintendo old ROMs, and that'll just constantly make them money.
Charge a subscription fee and just like they're more interested in doing like their online service and making like a battle royale. Let's, instead of making a new F-Zero game, let's make a battle royale.
Yeah. I'm not saying it so annoyed
watching it gameplay of it. I'm probably gonna get Nintendo online again just to play it. But you know.
Yeah, same here. I'll just do it for that, just to get a video out of it. And that's but they should have released F-Zero, the GameCube version. They should have HD'd that up, released that with the arcade tracks for F-Zero AX, it's called. Did you know that? They were released side by side. So there's F-Zero GX on the GameCube and an F-Zero AX on the arcade. So they're completely different tracks.
Oh, that's cool.
But you can actually unlock the arcade tracks on the GameCube version. But it is actually really difficult to do. So a lot of people won't have played those arcade tracks.
I haven't.
No.
I just got my Steam Deck primed up with all sorts of goodies, so maybe I'll try.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can use cheats to unlock them as well. You know,
no cheats.
No cheats.
I don't cheat. Literally, I do not cheat in games. I figure, like, why would I play the game? Literally, I'd rather not play. What is the point of playing the game if you're going to cheat? I had no satisfaction about that, unless it's like I want to see an ending or something, and I don't feel like putting 1,000 hours into something. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Like big head mode in video games.
Well, I like that in like NHL Blitz and stuff. And I liked, like I said, I did like, you know, cheats can be fun if you want to like go in and play like, you know, like The Sims or something and have $1 million. Or you want to go and play Grand Theft Auto and you want to, just like I said, blow everything up and get 1 million rocket launchers. It's just, you know, it can be fun, but like it's if I want to go in, you know, and have a stupid experience, not if I want to like actually play a game. I don't know.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Back in the day when I was a kid playing the NES, all the games just seemed impossible. So I used to slot in the Game Genie so I could actually finish them. And now as an adult, I realized I can actually do them without cheating. And it's awesome being able to go through these games from when I was a kid that I thought were impossible and just be able to do them. But online, you know, being online helps so much, you know, be able to see guides, you know, to save so much time of trying to work out last bosses instead of having to go through the game multiple times just to die on the last boss over and over. And also, if a game's particularly hard, like Battletoads, I'll throw that one out there, as that's probably one of the hardest games I've ever done. The way I did that, I actually used the Game Genie to send me to levels, send me directly to particular levels so that I could practice them over and over. Yeah.
Makes
so
sense.
until I was confident that I could get through each level without losing a continue, then I'd go for a full run on my own.
Yeah, that's like really essential in shmups. Like shmups that have that are so much better to practice because, you know, level 4 and level 5 is where it gets for real. And so you got to spend 20 minutes at a time to get there, and then you might lose in 3 seconds. And it's like, all right, this isn't a very efficient way to practice at all.
And you've got one life by the time you get there, and you've lost them all on stages that you do that.
Yeah.
So it's essential to be able to just bang it out and put on level 5 and just practice level 5 for like a day or two.
Yeah.
And then try to play the game, because that's all about really like all shmups are like the first 4 levels or whatever, and then the last level or 2 are just holy crap. That's the real game.
Yeah. Oh, what did I play recently? I've been playing a lot of shmups lately because I've been going through Sega Saturn and PC Engine games.
So many amazing ones on both those systems.
Yeah, they're absolutely packed full. I didn't realize how many there were. They've all been sitting there ready to play. I've just never put the time into these consoles before, but until recently. And my God, some of them are so hard. But I'm getting through them. One of them, I did actually have to put a cheat in to double my continues. I think it was
Blazing Lasers.
I think so.
That was
I think it is. PC Engine, yeah. And that was it was being sold because that was my brother's game, and he put it on eBay. And he said, "Right, you've got one night to play it." So, oh my God, right, I've got to get into it.
I'm gonna get good quick.
To be honest, the end level, the last bosses, I thought I don't think I'll ever be good enough to beat this game without doubling my continues.
That's how most shmups feel, dude. They're like punishing. I swear it's for a sicko community. It's for like people who like want to be punished. Like the harder and crazier it is, the more these people are like, yes, this is truly impossible. Finally. It's like, and almost every like I love shmups, but I almost never try to beat them on the hardest difficulty because they're always just absolute. Like I go for like usually the second hardest, and so that's already way harder to me than it needs to be.
I've learned my lesson. Easiest setting every time. Yeah. Full lives, max continues, full lives, and they're still impossible. So
yes,
most of the time. So I don't even mess around. I'm just like, no, easiest. I know what you're like.
It depends. If
you brought up before the video games these days, you can just easily like look up a guide on YouTube or a playthrough on Twitch. I find it's really rewarding these days to like not do that, and then like there'll be certain I'll try and refuse to do that in games like Dark Souls. I'll play my first playthrough blind, and then I'll replay the game with a guide and get everything I missed and do that.
Right.
It's good fun, and that leads us to another thing I wanted to bring up. Then, before we started the show, Marty sent me his YouTube channel to check out, and I'm like, I'm already subscribed to it. What? And I'm looking through the videos. So, Marty made like a full guide on Legend of Zelda to the kingdom in all the shrines, and I watched one of those videos and subscribed, and I had absolutely no idea. So that's a small
That's great. But thanks for subscribing. Because it actually, doing the Zelda videos is not my normal thing. It's just gameplay videos, full game completions, basically. But with Zelda, I thought, I've got some easy content here. Yeah. I can do a lot of videos. All I have to do is play at night, and in the day, I can get a few videos sorted pretty quickly because you do a few shrines in one sitting. So I just thought I'll do some guide videos. I try to make them as easy to watch as possible, so you just see the puzzles. So I just cut all the walking up to the puzzles and things like that. So it's just puzzle, cut, done. I don't show you the end of the shrine or anything because no one wants to see that, do they? They just want to know how
The
do you
loading
do
screen for
that
10
puzzle?
seconds. And...
Yeah. So that's been my content for the past couple of months. Just because it's easy, and I've been getting a lot more views from them because it's current as well. The amount of stuff I put on my channel, it's so obscure. No one knows what they come into my channel for. It could be anything. It could be the latest game. It could be the oldest game. It could be any console, PC. But Tears of the Kingdom, it's given me some good content. It actually lost me a lot of subscribers, but I've learned my lesson now. Is because I had so much content early on. I just threw them all on my channel. So I'd have about 10 videos in a day, 20 videos in a day, and then that's when people started unsubscribing from me because I think it was coming up on their feed and annoying them because they were like, "Well, I subscribed to you for Saturn or something, or N64," but so they started leaving. So what I started doing was 2 a day, morning, evening, and then that's when I started getting my subscribers up. Usually they're like Figsy.
I've been grinding at YouTube since 2016, 2017, and it's baby steps.
Yeah. It's
an
a hard
interesting
thing.
point you mentioned about mixed content, because I like debate about making new YouTube channels to do other content, but I end up just posting it on my channel. But I find YouTube today is really good with playlists and what they recommend to viewers. Like, viewers don't usually get recommended their subscribers' videos anymore. They just get recommended what they watch.
Yeah, so, totally agree. When you go through your subscribers list, you think, "Oh, I totally forgot about this channel." But when you go through your feed, there's loads of channels you haven't subscribed to, isn't there? There's just wants to do what you've been watching lately, and then you start getting into things, don't you, that you were never into before. Like I don't know, they just start throwing stuff at you, and then you
no, that'll happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a boxing fan at the moment, apparently.
Marty, we had a question from chat. Jason asked, "What console have you got the most games on?"
Ooh, that's a good question. Oh, that will have to be the GameCube, because that's a full collection, and it's about 400 games, a bit over 400 games. So,
and in the UK, that's a PAL set.
That's it. Yeah, I've got the PAL set. I've also got some cool variants as well. Like, there's some German 2-in-1 games. There's a French game as well, Driver or something like that. So yeah, I've got some decent variants. Yeah, the full PAL collection too.
I know you've got a full Wii U set as well. Any other complete collections you've got? Yeah,
NES, PAL, but not full PAL Australian games too. So I've just gone for the UK PAL releases because the Australian games, they've never meant anything to me. I never saw them as a kid and thought, "Oh, I'd love to play that." They just came. I only knew about them when I started collecting the NES.
Suddenly they're thousands of dollars, and it's like, I don't want to buy that.
Yeah, that's it. Same with the N64. I've got a full N64 PAL UK collection. There's a few Australian exclusives, and they're insane. Those prices. The most expensive is what's it called? StarCraft 64. That's going on about $1,000. That keeps going higher in price. That's much higher than any other game in the.
That's a loose copy too. That's not complete.
No, I think it would be complete. Yeah, it would be complete. That.
I can't imagine that game is pleasant to play. It cannot possibly be pleasant to play that game with an N64 controller. There's no way. I love StarCraft, but that just sounds like if you were like, "Hey, you want to play Star?" Yeah, sure. Like, but you have to play with an N64. I'm like, get the hell out of here. What is this? It's just like Dark Souls with a Guitar Hero controller, as far as I'm concerned. I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah, there's no mouse for the N64 either, I don't think.
That's probably
So,
one in Australia only for $15,000.
Yeah.
And Marty, are those collections complete in box as well?
Yes, yeah, all boxed. That was
Oh,
my
wow.
main one. Yeah,
Even the
yeah.
NES?
Yes, manuals too.
Wow, man, that's amazing.
Yeah, I tried to get them as best condition as possible as well. My Wii U collection is probably the most impressive because they're all sealed.
Nice.
And they are every variant that came out in the European region. So I've got some really rare, variants that you just never see come up
like
on
Assassin's
eBay.
Creed, Black Flag.
Yeah, the black chest. There was 5 versions of Assassin's Creed that came out on the Wii U. So the rarest one is the black chest, which is a massive box, which you could only get from Ubisoft store, basically. So they were in very limited copies, and that's the holy grail really for Wii U collectors. Yeah, that was a hard one to get, but
I've seen people post it for like $5,000. It's insane.
Yeah, guess how much I paid? $250.
Yeah, well done,
Nice.
man. Nice.
But yeah, I was collecting in the right time. Yeah, I was collecting at the right time. That's when I realized, hey, I could get them all sealed because they're cheap right now. So I just went for them all sealed. To play them, I just modded my Wii U, stuck all the games on a hard drive.
Yeah.
So that's it. I've paid for my games, so
yeah,
I can do that.
You got them all. You can. Hey, if anyone, you own this game, I sure do.
Yeah.
Here it is. I've even got it brand new, so
you're allowed to back up your games. Like you legally can do that with the games you
own.
Own. It's really not no problem with that. My modded Wii.
I think you have to manually do it yourself, but I don't think anyone's going to
just say you did and you resealed all your games.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're all resealed. I just tell everyone they're all resealed when I go to sell it.
And the lady who got sued, she got sued over a certain amount of songs, and every single song that she got sued over, she had a physical copy of the CD, and the judge awarded her and winning it because she owned it. She's like, "Sorry, you own all these."
Yeah, exactly. What do you want to do?
Yeah, awesome. Absolutely.
So I've heard like the Wii U,
Wii U, man. It's cool to have a full sealed set because it's not something that you can do like today. You have to do it like you can do it for the PS5 if you started 2 years ago.
Yeah. And I think I'm the only person that's done it. Everyone's got their own types of collections, but to do the full PAL sealed all variants, I think I'm the only person that's done that.
It's pretty sick. What would you say your favorite console is? Which one hits you right in the feels, man?
I think it's the N64. N64. There's so many incredible games. Just between Nintendo and Rare, they just made the best quality games of any generation, I think.
That's pretty cool, man.
It's just such a nostalgic system.
Sorry.
Today, it's just such a nostalgic system today.
Yeah. I mean, any Nintendo console I could easily say is my favorite one. NES, SNES, GameCube. They all get me, in the feels, as you say. But I'd probably go for N64 just because some of my favorite games of all time are on that. No question. Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Mario 64. And my favorite is actually Perfect Dark. That's my game. My best ever game, I think. It's when they did the HD release on the Xbox 360. I played that, and that cemented the idea. I just hammered it again, and I thought, my God, this is just amazing. This game, it's still amazing.
Yeah, it is a really good game.
I've never played it, but I've watched countless hours of it being speedrun.
Yeah.
I used to work at a swimming pool company in I live in New England. We get like winters, like really long, cold winters, and we were open year round. And so pretty much for like 3 or 4 months, I worked at a swimming pool company in the middle of the freaking winter. So like nobody came in, nobody was shopping, and I just remembered we had an N64 out back, and we used to play GoldenEye, and oh my god, so much. And I beat Ocarina on time, sitting back in the pool shop playing on the N64. I have so many memories of that. It was so awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember me and my boss at the time tried to beat GoldenEye on like the super ultra hard setting or the hardest mode.
Yeah.
And like, dude, we could not beat the last 2 levels. We could not beat them. We tried for like months. And could not
so
do
hard,
it.
aren't they?
So hard. Oh my god.
You forget how hard they are too. Did anyone see the you know when they did the HD remaster of Perfect Dark? They also did the GoldenEye as well, but no, they never told anyone about it. Did you hear about that? It got leaked about 2 years ago. Somebody from Rare or something leaked the HD version of GoldenEye, and they did a proper job on that. I played through it on my channel. I had to use an emulator for that because it was a beta version. It wasn't complete. It was almost complete. You can see a few bugs here and there, but they did it so well. It's brilliant. The controls are excellent. You can change the graphics on the fly, just a touch of the button. You can go from HD to original N64 graphics.
That's cool.
Controls are brilliant.
That feature.
Yeah, and the annoying thing is that they did not use that version for the recent release of GoldenEye on the Xbox and Switch.
Yeah,
they made 2 separate versions of the original, which both had flaws, their own separate flaws.
Why?
So yeah, it's ridiculous. So what? So the Switch version had online, but the Xbox version didn't. And
that blew my mind. Why?
Yeah,
Why? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
And then the Xbox version had proper controls, but the Switch version was locked to N64 controls, which is fine if you've got an N64 controller. But if you use a regular pad on an N64 game, they do not meld together. They don't
didn't
work.
produce enough of those.
Yeah, and then
N64 controllers, and then they went on eBay for like $200-$300. And it's like, you want to play the game properly, you need to spend like $300.
Yeah, that's the stuff that drives me nuts about these like companies. I'm just like, they're like, well, we want to make it so people want to buy a product, and then it works so well that they don't have any and they don't make them. It's like, why is Nintendo want money? Why don't you want money? Why don't you have like if those things were readily available, I probably would have dropped money on those. But that's okay. Have you seen the retro? I think it's Retro Game Fighters. I can't remember. Or the Brawlers. Have you seen the Brawler 64 controllers they make? They have like the new ones that work on the Switches and stuff. Those are pretty cool. So I wouldn't mind driving some of those and trying those out because they have at least the right pads, with the yellow buttons and everything.
Yeah. But Nintendo, I don't know why they do these. They're so limited. Their stuff, and it's always scalpers that are buying this stuff. Whenever I get an email from Nintendo, hey, this is out now. We're doing this limited edition of Zelda. Right, I'm buying it right now. All gone. Scalpers have taken them, and they're on eBay already. On eBay with not even that much of a markup. They because there's so many on eBay pre-order. So they're all competing against each other. So they're only making about, I don't know, £20 each or something.
After fees and taxes, like you're not really making that much.
I know it's so annoying. I'm like, you guys are ruining this hobby for $40.
Yeah,
can you cut it out, dude?
The worst thing is they don't know how to pack them either. So they send them to you. You buy one from them. They don't pack them right, and they come in all bashed up, and you have to send them back.
Yeah, Amazon are bad for that. Hey, Marty, I wanted to ask about your handheld collection. Did you get into Game Boy Advance, DS, 3DS?
Yeah, but more in the day. So afterwards, I did actually collect a few Game Boy boxed games a year or two ago. But yeah, I haven't been massive on it, but I do have a pretty decent collection. They were all games I wanted to play basically back in the day. So I haven't really got shelf fillers or anything like that with those. They're just the decent ones. And recently, this is pretty cool. I bought what they call a capture card for the 3DS. So I've just had it installed. It was a soldering job, which was actually pretty complicated, and you have to do some pretty hard work on it to get it working. But now I can record my 3DS and DS games, so I'm pretty happy with that, because that just wasn't an option beforehand. So I had to import that piece from Japan. So it cost a bit of money, and then to get it soldered. But yeah, that's a really cool thing that it exists. So I'll be able to do some 3DS stuff and DS.
Yeah, that's one of the things I always say about the 2DS and 3DS is I hate emulating them. Like they're the only two systems that like is recreating the experience stinks. It's just so much better on an actual 2DS than 3DS, because two screens, it's just so much better. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know how you replicate that unless you can't, unless they made.
Yeah, especially some of the puzzles were done especially for 3D, weren't they? Like even in Mario 3D Land, some of the puzzles you could only see if you tilted it around, the 3DS, so you could see behind an object. So yeah, there's some pretty unique puzzles which would not be possible with an emulator.
Yeah.
So Marty, how about your PlayStation collection? Tell us all about that.
PlayStation. That's more. I've actually started getting back into PlayStation a couple of years ago. When just getting job lots of people just selling big loads of, I've got like 100 games or something. I thought, yeah, they're pretty cheap. I'll buy them off you, and that's some of my content on my channel as well. I'm just going through them. Like I clean everything. See, when I get my games, I go through. I spend a lot of time cleaning them, making sure they're as immaculate as possible. Put them in a wrapper or a box protector if they're a cardboard box. Then I try to play them instead of just putting them away, because they get forgotten about if I just put them away. So yeah, I've been doing that. I've got a few PlayStation games done. So there's a lot of tat, but I don't mind. I just want to try them. Try every game out. So when there's tat games, you can get through them pretty quickly as well. Like some kiddie kart racer or something like that. Get a quick video.
I respect playing something. These days, I'm just like, I'll just play this 100-hour RPG, and then this 75-hour game, and then this other 100-hour game. It's like I played 5 games this year, and it's like September.
Well, I did some longer ones recently. Fear Effect 2.
Nice.
That's something I never played back in the day. That was pretty tough. I actually thought I was stuck near the end. I saved at a point, and I just couldn't get past this one room.
Old school gaming. You saved at the wrong spot at the wrong time, friend. Now you're screwed.
I was thinking, Jesus, this hasn't happened in a long time.
Dude, I remember losing RPG files because you saved with no health in the wrong spot, and there's a boss fight, and you can't go back, and you have no way to escape, and you can't get out of the dungeon because you only got 10 HP. No matter what direction you go, you die. You have to start the game over. It's like, oh my god.
I did that with Final Fantasy VIII. I got to a boss right near the end, but the thing is, I was kind of going through the game quickly. I tried to change my tactics of I wanted to go through it quickly, and then when I needed to level up, I'd level up. But I got to a boss, saved there, and I couldn't go back, and I was way too weak.
Exactly.
I thought, oh no. So I left it for a year, and I came back a year later and thought, right, I'm going to try it again. And I actually just really persevered, and I actually did it. So I spent the next 10 hours grinding.
Like never again.
To make myself super powerful.
I find like when I come back, I have to restart the game. It doesn't matter how far I was in. If I want to try and get back into it.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Usually that is the case for me, and usually I just don't give up. That I could probably count on one hand how many games I've just given up. What one game that remains completed I can think of is Jet Force Gemini on the N64. I just couldn't do the last boss, and normally I just keep persevering until it's done, but it was just so hard. I lost motivation, and I just never picked it up again, which is something I don't do now because I remember that time now. It's like, no, don't put it down. You'll never come back to it. So finish it.
Yeah, that's the big lie. I say I
have to learn them.
I think every Dark Souls game I've never completed because I'm always like, yeah, I'll get back to this one.
That's
always
yeah.
happens.
No.
And then I'm like, ooh, Mario Kart's fun. This is easy. I'm winning these races. And then I'm like, eh. It's like hard to. It really is hard to. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like trying to convince yourself to go back to school for your master's degree. You're like, I mean, I should do it, but that's a lot of work. I'm having a great time. I kind of want to barbecue today.
Everything I've already learned.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's another thing. I'm like, I have to start over. I don't remember algebra.
So have you finished any Dark Souls games?
I finished Elden Ring. That's the only finished.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think one of the hardest games in all the Soul series, one of the hardest bosses in all the Soul series was in Elden Ring.
Millennium.
That was no, actually, for me, it was that fire giant. Is that what it's called? Fire giants in the ice?
Yeah,
massive one.
Now that I've played
it was that easy.
The Millennium. Yeah. I was doing a counter and I died like 65 times to her before I beat her.
Yeah.
I didn't even fight her. I had a problem with that giant bug-looking dude with the pinchers and the I don't remember his name. It's just like a big skull face, and he's like got like 50 like spider arms and shit. Like I don't know, everything in that game looks disturbing. I don't remember his name though.
When I actually got to the giant, I actually went back to the whole, because that was a progression boss. You had to do that. So I just went back through the whole game and did every other boss, leveled myself up, I thought, right, I've explored everywhere now. I'm going back to the giant. I should be more than leveled up enough. And still, 4 hours it took me to beat it. 4 hours on one boss.
I played every single Souls game, and I've got every platinum trophy in every single one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dang.
Sekiro had two bosses. There was Ishin, the final boss, and the old Father. And those two by far were the hardest bosses for me because you don't just beat the fight. You have to learn every single move and then the pattern of every single move. And you had to learn, you just had to learn so much for these two fights. And return to it now would be so hard.
I do have a problem with some of the Souls games though, with the checkpoints, because they know you're going to die on the boss. You get to some of the older ones that they set the checkpoint miles away, so you've got to run for ages, and sometimes you've got to fight the enemies beforehand. You have to fight them again, otherwise they'll stab you in the back and kill you.
See, for me as a veteran, I prefer that rather than having a checkpoint just before the boss.
Oh no, I hate it. I just want to get back to the boss again.
You learn to just run, the naked man, run between everything and everything. You'll have a cliff that you've fallen off 20 times, and eventually you're just running past enemies.
What about Bloodborne though? That annoyed me the most. I don't know if I was doing it wrong, but it seemed to me every time I had to attempt a boss, I'd have to go to a certain place and grind for health flasks because they don't give you full health flasks before the fight. So I'd have to grind and try and max out my health flasks every time I tried to fight the boss. Was I doing it wrong? I don't know.
You weren't doing it wrong, but if you return to Bloodborne now after playing them all, you'd be a lot better at the game, and you don't have that experience, and then it feels so much more enjoyable. I played Bloodborne when I wasn't good at the game, and I didn't enjoy it. And then I played Bloodborne after having 1,000 hours into the series, and it was so enjoyable because the grind isn't there. It's just a fun game. In Bloodborne, it's more I find it's like you're dancing with the opponent, where you don't want to use your shield, but you really want to parry and just keep the aggression on in Bloodborne. And once you like learn the dance, I would say, of Bloodborne, it's so fun. I'd love a Bloodborne 2 or a 60 frame
remake.
per second
Yeah.
HD remake. Oh my god.
That's the thing about those games. I always feel like I've cheesed every single boss. I don't feel like I've earned this, you know. I just think, how lucky was I? I managed to get through. I can't believe I did it. So yeah, I don't get that satisfaction.
They'd have so many ways to play them, and I was just like, when I first played them, I was the same, you know, looking up guides, how do I choose this boss? But I found once to really get the rewarding sensation out of it, you've got to introduce certain things to make it hard. So my most enjoyable or most rewarding playthrough was I did a soul level 1 playthrough of Dark Souls 3, where you don't level up for the whole game, you just stay on level 1.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was hard because you have to then choose other ways that you can do on level 1. Like, what's the best weapon you can use on level 1? What's the best magic spell you can use on level 1? Like, what environmental items can you use at level 1 that will help you in this fight? And it's fun. Like, you got no health, so you have to learn to. All right, I can't be hit.
You got no health. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. You got no HP.
That is insane. Can't be.
I beat it at level 1. Let's go.
Yeah, nah.
I've done a similar challenge on Mega Man 10. Anyone played them? You know, the old Mega Man games, the NES ones. Yeah. Well, did you know about the when they made 9 and 10? They made them on the Xbox 360 and PS3, as in downloadable games.
Yep.
But yeah, in that style, the NES style.
Yeah.
And one of the achievements was do the game without losing a life. I did that. Then the last achievement was do it without getting hit.
Screw that.
And I actually did that.
Did you choose it though, or did you do it?
There was a bit of a cheat that you could, if you put it on easy setting, you could save between each level. So that was something at least.
And then
yeah. And I actually, I actually tested that in work when I was at Sony, and I started getting good. And I thought, I'm going to buy this, and I'm going to try and go for the hard challenge. You know, I just love Mega Man. I'm a big Mega Man fan.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, in fact,
next question, and I want to hear all about.
Can I tell you something interesting that I've just played on Mega Man game? There was a game made by a Japanese pop. Well, it was in collusion with a Japanese pop band, and so they made a Mega Man game based on Mega Man 2, and it was online only. You could only play it on either on your phone or through a website, and it's kind of Mega Man 2 but timed to the pop song, so it's all played in one go, and it will always end when it ends. You know, on Popscotch, the screens move auto scrolling, and it was crazy that it was released, and it's just been deplatformed. I just found out about it the day before it was getting deplatformed, taken off for good. So I've got a playthrough of that, but my god, it was insanely hard, like way harder than the NES games. I thought, well, why have you done this for a Japanese pop group? Like half your audience are going to be the Japanese pop group audience who've never played Mega Man before. But it's cool that it exists, though. I was really impressed that they made that.
That's awesome. I wanted to ask all about your time working at Sony as a game tester, man. That's really exciting.
Yeah. So it was in Liverpool. So I live in Wales, but I can get to Liverpool in about 45 minutes if I speed, you know, which I often did in the mornings. I'm late. So yeah, Sony Europe is in Liverpool, and they have an in-house where they do the first party games, Sony Computer Entertainment Europe. So they do like Wipeout, games like that. So they used to be Psygnosis. So Psygnosis used to make games on the Amiga, PlayStation, and early PlayStation games, and then Sony basically.
Their logo was like an owl, right?
That's right. Yeah, the owl. I think that's based on the game Agony on the Amiga. There's a game called Agony where you're a flying owl. But they made Lemmings and games like that. And Sony, because they're decent output on the early PlayStation, Sony just decided to buy them and make them their first party studio. So we got some games coming through there. Time I started, I was when the PS3 just came out. So I was mainly on PS3 games.
So heaven, according to Figsy, like you're literally got the dream job testing up PS3 games. Oh my goodness!
It sounds like it, but oh my god!
But those games were really buggy. Actually, it was a lot of work.
Well, you've got to understand. So people don't realize this. The vast majority of games that come out are crap. There's a lot of games that come out and
you only got to test the crappy games, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah. I'd sometimes get a good game like, for example, Uncharted. Another team was on Uncharted, and it was just before release, and they said, "Oh, we just need to hammer testing," so they put our team on it just for a day. So I got to play that for a day, which was pretty cool, in a finished state, but that was very rare. Usually, I spent a year on SingStar games for the PS2. A year, right?
It's all full circle, man. You were testing them, Figsy was collecting them, man. This is awesome.
So when the SingStar, their first release, their beta release, they wouldn't even have the video. It's just the words on the screen and the music. So you're just staring at a blank screen with the words going across all day.
Just listening to music you don't.
And you're just basically confirming it's all correct, right?
Yeah, but it's to a schedule as well. So it's like, right, listen to this song, then it's to a test plan. We've got to go through all the songs separately. It's not like listen to what you like. It's just oh my god. But so it's interesting.
I was in the Spice Girls division. God damn it.
But yeah, we actually got through a lot of. It exposed me to a lot of world music because we had like a Finnish rock version, we had the ABBA version,
the Norwegian black metal SingStar.
Sorry,
nothing.
South African version. I've got
we had German old style like TV singers, which was really weird, like people crooning on 70s TV channels. It was really strange.
Well, there's a Dutch one that's like done after a weird Dutch TV show, Studio 100.
Oh right, no, I didn't know about that one. But yeah, they did a lot of SingStar games. But yeah, there's I've got a good few memories of songs from different countries now. Yeah, some cheesy ones and some good.
Marty, I'm imagining when you're playing like say Uncharted, for example, probably a bad example. Say you're doing like a game, it's an adventure game. I'm assuming when you're a game test, you're not just playing the game from start to finish. You're doing a level and you're running into all the walls to make sure the walls aren't broken and different things like that.
Yeah, so it depends what you're basically playing through the game in the state that it's in the version it is, which is quite annoying because any progression you've made on a version, you don't know when the next version's coming in. And when they bring in a new version with some bug fixes, your job is first to go through the bugs list and see what's been fixed. They don't tell you what they fixed. You have to go through every bug on the list and check which has been fixed or not. So that's already a time-wasting system. And then you try and play through the game and try and break it the best you can. But I'll tell you a bad thing about the when you get a new version, you have to scrub your save. You have to start again from the beginning. This was really bad for Gran Turismo Prologue. Gran Turismo, on the PS3, Gran Turismo Prologue. So no one could get to the end of the game in time because you had to grind and save up for like the best car. So we were getting a new version every day or two, and no one. They gave us no cheats or anything like that, no debug mode. So no one could actually get to the end of the game in time because you have to wipe your save. And no one thought, like, let's add a debug mode or something. There was just no communication in testing. It's just, there you go, do your job. And so I don't know if anyone actually tested it properly.
Marty, you know what's funny about that is, I don't know if you've heard, but recently it's just come out that there's a cheat on like Gran Turismo 4 that's been discovered 20 years later that gives you like 20,000 credits at the start.
Oh, you're kidding me. So oh my God. That is insane. I remember there was, I think there was a guy that they said that was his sole job, was just to grind a race that he could get the most money on, to see if he could just unlock that last car. And he never could. You just grind the same race over and over, and you'd never have enough time to unlock the last car. And they had a bloody debug mode. I can't believe that.
They didn't tell you that. I love it.
No.
That's obviously why it wasn't discovered. If the game testers didn't get about this thing, like,
that's insane.
Yeah, it just got discovered. It would have been this year. We said it on the podcast when it came out.
Yeah, I'll tell you another story of a game that came in. There was a downloadable game on the PS3 called Piotama. You probably haven't heard of it. It's a puzzle game, a bit like Bubble Bobble, that style of game. Not Bubble Bobble, Puzzle Bobble. Bubble Bobble's the platformer, isn't it? Puzzle Bobble is the one where you shoot the. It's also known as Pop and Shoot. What is it? The one where
I know what you're talking about. You get the balls, you shoot balls.
Them. Yeah, and you've got it.
Kind of like Magical Drop, but it's the other way.
That's it. Yeah, Magical Drop. There's another one. Mean Bean? No, not Mean Bean Machine. That's downwards, isn't it?
That's the other way. Yeah.
Dr. Robotnik. Yeah. But anyway, the Piotama. It came to us, to my team. They said, "Right, here's your game. It's already complete because it's out in Japan, but this is the English version. We're just, you've got to play it again because we've changed the text on it, right?" So it was basically complete. A playthrough of that game was 1 minute. So imagine getting that and saying, right, this is your job now to play this game for 1 minute over and over and over again. And that depressed the hell out of me. I was like, you're kidding me. So I've got to be here 7 hours a day for 5 days and play this thing for 1 minute over and over. Jesus.
I don't know what's worse, that or the Gran Turismo where you lose your progress every single day.
I'd say this, because there was no bugs to find either, because we knew it was already complete. They just changed the text. It was already out in Japan.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That sounds literally like some sort of new.
Sorry. What's the best game you ever tested that never came out?
I'm pretty sure all the games came out. Because by the time, we were never that early into development in studios themselves, because sometimes they'd use they'd be pretty much in a higher state when they came to our office. They'd be, not at the very basics of, production of like trying to work out the game. They pretty much worked out the game. They'd worked out how the levels were going to work, the difficulty, everything like that. We basically just have the almost ready game and then just find the problems so far. So we'd have no input to like, hey, this bit's a bit difficult, or maybe you should change the controls slightly for this. We'd have nothing like that. That'd already been decided and given to us. So yeah, pretty much every game has been released. Yeah, that came through our studio.
I'm going to then assume that each studio probably has their own game testing team before they hand it over to
That's right, yeah. So basically, so we were at Sony Sony Computer Entertainment Europe. That's what it was called. The studio. So it was split. There was the game developers, right, at Sony Ski, we call it Sony Europe. So there was the game developers who make games like Wipeout. They made Home. Remember Home?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That didn't work out. So they'd make the games upstairs, and we'd be the testing studio downstairs that would get the games from second-party Sony developers. So, like Uncharted is Naughty Dog. So we didn't make it at our studios. We just get it from Naughty Dog, and we do the testing there. So they'd have their own testers at the early stages, and we do the later ones. But then there's another department in Liverpool, and I moved to that department. It's submissions department, and this was actually a lot better. I was actually pretty lucky that this existed so close to me, because this is the submissions team where every game that has to come out in Europe on a PlayStation console has to go through our final testing in this submissions QA. So we would have the final say on whether the game was ready to come out. So they give us their completed game. Every single studio all around the world who wanted to release in Europe, they had to go through our office. So that was basically the second half of my tenure in Sony. The first half was Sony first and second party games, and then the second half was in a different studio where we'd play every single game that came out on the PlayStation, and that was really cool. We'd do 4-day shifts, 11-hour days, 4 days on, 4 days off. So that was already a good. It was pretty hard when you're in, but you get 4 days off. That was really cool. And then, so you get put on a game, and it would just be random. Here's a game. But the good thing was, they'd already be complete, and you'd often have enough time to actually play through the game as well. And I was part of the technical team, so it wasn't game. There was a separate department for gameplay, just playing through the game, and they weren't really even trying to break it that hard. They just play through, just make sure you can play through to the end, basically, because they haven't got that much time to do it, and we just have to prove that it works, basically. But in my department, it's called TRC, which is called the Technical Requirements Checklist. And what that is, it's a big checklist book, a bit like doing an MOT, but it's a lot more in depth, and there's just technical processes which a game has to pass, and if they don't, the game will fail. It'll get sent back to them, and you will have to fix this.
So I'm just going to go on a limb and say this doesn't exist anymore in the modern gaming world. Like, there's no sort of quality control anymore, right? Because they just go, shit's broken.
Yeah,
let it go.
Day one patch.
Put it in the collector's edition. No game with the code. Sell them that little shiny statue. Let's go.
Now that happened. That started to happen with EA in our studio. That when I was in Sony, that was it, before it was a no-no. But then EA started getting a pass, saying, we'll fix it with the day one patch. And that started back then. And they probably get away with it now. But there are, in the TRC, they probably would get rejected still, because these are important things like make sure it saves at all points where it's supposed to save. If you switch it off while it's saving, make sure the save doesn't corrupt, which is silly because they tell you on the messages, do not switch the console off. But that was our job, to switch it off at every point it saves. Whether it be by the power button, resetting, holding the PS button. You'd have to do that every screen, every possibility, and just see, does this break the save? Does it break the game? And with the PS3, what would happen is it would beep 3 times if it failed the shutdown process. It mean it terminated illegally. Basically, the console shut down wrongly, and it's 3 beep. Once you get a 3 beep, and you can replicate that 100%, that's a fail for the game. That's not coming out. And you can do that anywhere in the game while it's saving. You try on every loading screen, on every startup screen when you're booting. Other tests you have to do is
test Skyrim properly, because I had that freebie plenty of times.
Oh, do you know what? I found a bug in Skyrim on the Game of the Year edition. I actually broke the game. Because one of the tests is to mess around with the controls, make sure all controls are written correctly at all times, but also change the controls in the settings. Trying to work out what I did. I think I changed one of the controls to either back or pause or something like that. But basically, I changed the control, saved it, and then I was completely stuck. I couldn't do anything because you can't delete your save. I've forgotten how I did it, but whatever. I broke the game by changing the controls, and I wasn't able to change them back again. So that was the Game of the Year edition. So Skyrim had already been released, so no one found that bug. so that was a real game breaker. You will have to delete everything.
Yeah, like the game itself is stuck.
Yeah,
like you're just saying.
Yeah, you'd have to delete the whole game.
It's a logic problem where it's like you need A to do B, but B doesn't exist anymore. So or whatever,
exactly
like
right. Exactly right.
At that point, you just remove like option B and C of the controller schemes, and
so I would always find that type of crap on accident, ruin my fun. never try to find problems. I would just do them. I'm like, how do I always do this? Or like, you know, I remember you said earlier, like you like to play games with no walkthrough, Figsy. I like to do that too, but then I always end up in these situations where I play the game completely ass backwards wrong, and I'm like, I spent 3 months trying to beat this boss with a spoon when I should have been in a completely different area. Like, what was I doing?
Well, I'll tell you what, do you know what? I'm the same as Fixie. I don't use walkthroughs on modern games because I find they're all accessible now. They're very accessible. I just use them on the retro games. So I want to do them in one playthrough, you know, and I'm not going to do that without some help. A lot of the times I do, but sometimes I think I'll just have a look on Game Facts. Anyone use those walkthroughs?
Oh yeah,
that's a godsend for retro games.
For a very long time. It's
but they're still there.
Walkthroughs are like certain YouTubers that I've been watching for a long time, and that's
I'm more of a reader, really. I like to read than copy. So they're all there in written forms from kids who used to have nothing better to do. They'd write guides, and they're still absolutely vital today. I'm so glad that it still exists, and it was done at the right time when the internet started, and games were still played. Back then, the retro games were still played, so you wouldn't get guys like that now.
You haven't for like trophies though, like PYX Power has his like 100% trophy guide out, and it's a full written guide, and it's like absolutely amazing. And then he'll have like a YouTube video where he's done the YouTube form of what he's just written and different things like that.
Oh right, yeah. I used to look at some achievement guides, but I just don't bother with them anymore. My time is just get through the games now. That's because there's thousands to get through, so it's just as quick as possible.
Well, it's funny too. I remember you mentioned something too, like you said, you like to go back and beat these games that you thought you could never beat, and they were totally impossible. And like I had similar thing. I love to go back and try to beat old Master System games and NES and SNES games that like just used to beat my ass. And one of them was R-Type, the original R-Type on Master System. When I was a kid, I could not beat that game. Loved it to death. Played thousands of hours, but I could never beat this one level, second to last level. I just couldn't beat it. And then as an adult, one day I look up. Like I remember it was a video or a guide or whatever, and I find there's like this little spot you could sit on the last boss fight where like nothing hits you. Oh my god! And you just go boop, park your ship right there, and it's so easy. And I'm like, oh man, how many? I'm glad I watched this guide because I probably would have spent another 3 years of my life being like, it's stupid game. And literally all I gotta do is just go whoop. Oh, okay, there you go, easy.
Yeah. Interestingly, I recently just. A week or two ago, I've got a video of R-Type on the PC Engine.
Dude, so good. That's a great.
That version. Was the PC Engine version is split into 2 games, so you only get the first 4 levels on. It's just called R-Type 1, Part 1, And then there's R-Type Part 2. I've just bought R-Type Part 2 so I can finish the game properly. But it's a very
CD,
good version,
right, or something like that.
No, there is a CD version of both games together, but 1 and 2 on Hue card, separate games. And you kind of use the password from completing the first one and add it to the second.
Can you imagine being a little kid and getting halfway through and being like, "What do you mean? I only half the game? What the heck?"
Yeah, I didn't understand what was going on because there wasn't much information on the internet because I completed it. I was like, I haven't finished it. What's going on? What do I do with this password?
Enter password.
Yeah. So I entered the password. I was like, nothing's happening. It's just sent me to the first level again. But yeah, I didn't know what was going on, but I had to do some searching.
Hey guys, we're past the 1 hour mark of the podcast. I think it's time to play Fixie's Quiz.
Oh, cool.
Let's do it. All right,
Let's
let me
go.
get out of the chat so I can't cheat. No cheating.
And we've also got a quiz for chat. And before we start, I'll just pull up chat's scores. Bear with me 1 second, guys. So, chat scores on 2 points. We have Mario, and Cyrus. On 1 point, we've got Windy Corner TV, Jimmy J, Jason Trickster, Banfi, Lulu Girl, The Collectionist, and Westman. And we know we haven't been doing too many EU shows, so to make up for it tonight, we've got 2 questions for chat. So possibility to get 2 points for you guys watching tonight. So chat, your first question tonight. I need the video game and I need the full title. And Marty, we'll get to your quiz in a second. Now this one's just for chat. So we'll leave this up for a while, guys. First person to answer gets the point. While chat are answering, let's get into the quiz. Marty, have you ever seen the quiz before?
I did, yeah. I had a little look. So we take turns in answering, is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Would you like to go first or second tonight?
Sure, I'll go first. Why not?
All right, sweet. So Marty's going to be going first. So once again, shout out to Pavel and Sylvan for making the quiz. We've got a really fun quiz tonight. And you guys enjoyed the new style of question. So the new style of question will be continuing in tonight's quiz. And I can confirm we have a correct answer answered in chat. So first point goes to Jason Trickster with Batman and Robin. Congratulations, Jason.
I got that.
I don't get it.
I'm going to pull the answer up quickly. So we had Batman and Robin.
Oh, I didn't get the truck in the middle. I just thought he's a Batman and there's a Robin.
Yeah, that works. So Jason goes to 2 points. The potential Jason could be leading this after the next question. So we will show chat's question before we get into the quiz. So chat, here is your second question for the night.
Oh boy.
I will just leave this one up for a second because there's a few things going on here. And we need the full title. I will not accept anything but the full title here. Now we'll continue back to the question as we go. But for now, let's get into the quiz, guys. So Marty will be going first tonight. Joe will be going second. Each question is going to be worth 1 point. Marty, if you get the question wrong, Joe will have the chance to steal. And when Joe goes first, vice versa, Marty will have the chance to steal. So let's get into it. Question 1. So question 1 for Marty. Which country doesn't have its own buzz game? Is it Iceland, Denmark, Norway, or Finland?
Denmark.
Incorrect. Joe?
Iceland.
Joe with the correct answer of
Yeah, that was the first one I thought of.
And we still haven't got anyone in chat with the correct answer, so a point is still up for grabs. And I'll just remind everyone, first person in chat to 5 points wins a video game shipped anywhere in the world. So you have to be in it to win it, guys. All right, question number 2. Joe, this one's for you. Which Mario Party game title exists? Is it Mario Party A, Mario Party E, Mario Party U, or Mario Party Y?
It's got to be you.
Incorrect.
Oh.
Martin?
Yeah, I was going to go for you as well. So I'll go for E. I don't get this one.
Marty, the correct answer? Mario Party E. So
e-reader.
Right. There you go.
I did. Yeah, that was a guess. That one. That was a lucky guess.
I was going to say, you probably own this too.
Actually, I've never owned an e-reader. Do you guys have an e-reader?
No, and I love Mario Party too. I'm like a huge Mario Party nut, so I'm a little sad that I got a Mario Party question wrong.
Yeah.
I love Mario Party. Like when you were talking about N64, what's your favorite console, dude? Mario Party 3. I put just an undescribable amount of hours into playing that game with my friends. Oh, dude, we used to play that to the point we would be fist fighting. Like it ruined our friendships, but it was such a great game.
Yeah, I played a lot of the first one. The second one I actually played recently for the first time about 6 months ago with real human friends. So that was cool.
You gotta play it with your buddies, and it's like
absolutely.
Like the exclamation point, you can like ruin the entire game on the last turn.
Yeah.
It's so great. What a fantastic game. Sorry.
Before we move on to round 2, I can confirm I've nailed it, and Banffy's got his second point with AC/DC Live Rock Band Track Pack. He got the full title. Well done.
God.
Nice, dude.
So Banffy and Jason both moved to 2 points after tonight. Well done, guys. So we now have 4 people on 2 points in the quiz. It's anyone's game at this point.
All
right, let's move back into it with round number 3. At this point, Marty and Joe have both got 1 point. It's anyone's game. Question 3. Marty, what game studio has this eye as their logo?
Insomniac Games.
Incorrect. Joe?
Oh, that's incorrect? Oh, God. I thought that's what it was. Oh, no.
I think we need to double check, don't we?
Insomnia Games? I don't know. I don't know, man.
So the answer we were looking for was
Neversoft.
Neversoft.
Oh,
super familiar. Should have known that.
I need to look at the Insomniac logo again.
I thought that
was Pavel does all the questions. He double checks them, so I trust you.
Well, yeah, but you show me the logo, so I believe you.
All right, question 4, Joe. I'm going to show you 4 3DS games. You have to tell me what these games have in common.
Oh, not one of these goddamn things. What do they have in common? Dude. I am going to say they all. So one's limited run, one's pixel heart. So those are they're all limited runs. They look like they're all like limited release. Like they were like from like limited release companies. They got small print runs. Like they were released after the 3DS life cycle.
Yeah, while that may be correct, it's not the answer we're looking for.
Okay.
Marty?
Well, I don't know. Freewood Story might not be a limited release, actually.
Is it my turn to answer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right, Mike.
Yep. I will go for they are as rare as shit and worth a lot of money.
That might be correct as well. The answer we were looking for is these were the last 4 games released for the 3DS.
Okay.
Oh.
I know the Andros Duno is like the last one, I'm pretty sure. Because I have it right over here.
All right, that is the end of round 2, and we have a score of 1 apiece. No change to the score after that round.
That round didn't go very well.
So let's move into round number 3. So, Marty, this question's yours. So I'm going to play some music that's backwards, and you have to tell me
Oh my god.
the game title of this song.
Ocarina of Time, Zelda.
That is backwards Ocarina of Time, Zelda.
I hear the devil in that music.
Give me 2 seconds. Ask Joe the question. I just need to open the door for my wife.
Yeah. All right, question 6. Joe, this one's for you. So, Joe, I'm going to show you a Japanese PS3 game, and you have to tell me what game it is.
Okay. That is cool as shit looking. This is a Japanese PS3 game. Gosh, I feel like I should know this. It's probably going to be pretty obvious, isn't it? Oh my god, the whole show's abandoned me, guys. Now that nobody's here, help me cheat. Oh, I mean, don't help me cheat. Well, he's not here, so I have all the time in the world I want to answer now,
Just
right?
Google it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, gosh, dude. What the heck's that game called? Dude, I don't know. Freaking Red Dead Undead Nightmare. That ain't what it is.
Good guess. Marty, I'm looking for what Japanese PS3 game are we looking at?
I've got a thought, but I think it's wrong and I don't remember the name. So I pass.
So we are looking at Ninja Gaiden Z Yaiba.
So I thought it was Ninja Gaiden because obviously it was Ninja Gaiden, but I'm like, I don't remember there being zombies in that game.
Yeah, same here. That did not.
I own that freaking game. It's right there. That's
Really?
I hate when this happens. Seriously, drives me crazy.
I don't remember being zombies except in the version I've got on the wall behind.
Yeah, I just didn't remember. I remember that's the one that has like the super cartoony graphics and stuff, right?
I didn't play it, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's like it's a little weird. It's not like the other games. It's
Is
like
it a bit like the 3DS
cell shaded. No, it's not like that one either. It's like a cell. As far as I remember, it's like a cell shaded one. It's like not as hard as the other ones, but I just don't remember it being a goddamn zombie game. But I guess it is. Whatever.
All right, the end of round 3. Marty's taking the lead of 2 points. Joe's right behind on 1. Still anyone's game. Now moving on to this round, it's like chat's questions. So you guys are going to get a couple of photos, and you have to work out the video game. Mm-hmm. So Marty, here are your pictures.
I know the answer. Shall I say it?
Yeah.
Rumble Roses.
Correct answer is Rumble Roses.
Very nice.
Marty takes another point. Joe can still win at this point because question 9 you can win up to 10 points. So
oh god, it's one of those things.
But like you won't win 10 points, but there's 10 points up for grabs.
No, I know.
Joe, your next question. I'm looking for the game title.
Okay. Okay. Oh my god. I mean, Cool Clown Monster Chase, Monster Racing. Something. What the fuck is that third thing, dude? I don't know what that is. Is that a frog? What is that fucking thing?
Ding 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 ding. Yeah, remember that?
No, bro. That sounds like Deliverance to me.
Well, you're lucky if you don't remember that.
No, I don't.
That song was #1 in 2004 in my country.
That's a song? Oh, jeez, bro.
Tell him afterwards. Tell him afterwards. Don't give it away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't tell me now. something chase. God, something clown chase. Bro. I don't know. Pass. I don't know. We'll be here all
Marty?
day.
I'm going to say something. I don't think it. I think it's wrong. Cool clown crazy chase. I don't know what that's.
I'll give that. Correct answer was Kid Clown in Crazy Chase, but I'll give that
Oh,
the game.
Awesome.
Works.
Thank you. Yeah, Crazy Frog. That's who it was. I don't know if you had that in the US, but I assume in Australia they went crazy. It was a ringtone. When mobile phones started getting ringtones that you could download.
First time, and it was the one that went viral, and it hit #1 in the charts.
Every TV advert in the UK, every single one, they'd have 2 or 3 of that same advert of the Crazy Frog just going ding, 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 ding on a motorbike. And it was insane. They actually had to legally remove that advert because it was annoying so many people.
What I love about it is because me and Marty grew up with it. So when you went night clubbing, they would then remix that into songs and you'd be like, It's the Crazy Frog.
Yeah, like the Beverly Hills Cop tune, and then just add the Crazy Frog's voice to it. They're just really cheesy.
All right, guys, we're going to move into the final round. So the final round's a little bit different. Now, we started this last week and everyone loved it. So how it's going to work is I'm going to put an image up on the screen, and it's going to be 10 different video game covers, but we've removed the main picture from the cover, so it's just the background. And you guys have to guess all the video games. So, Marty, as you've got the lead, Joe's going to be going first. So, Joe, you're going to guess. I mean, you're going to each go one at a time, and you'll each have 3 lives. So, if you get 3 wrong, you'll be out, and the other person will be able to keep getting points. So, it's important to think about your answer. So let's start it with Joe. And here are your games for the night, guys.
Breath of the Wild.
Joe takes 1 point. Marty?
Castlevania. Symphony.
And I'll also get you guys to say the numbers. So Breath of the Wild was number 10.
4,
number 10.
4.
Sorry, 10. Sorry, it was mine.
Castlevania was 4. That was correct. Joe?
Number 2 is Silent Hill Homecoming.
That is correct. Joe takes another point. Marty?
1, Metro.
That is correct. Number 1 is Metro. Marty takes another point. Joe?
It's number 8, Super Mario Odyssey. No, it's not. No, Galaxy. Is that what that is?
Incorrect.
Okay.
Joe loses a point.
I'm going to have to take
Joe gets 1 strike. Marty?
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to take a guess at 8 as well. I'm going to go for Mario 3D Land.
Also incorrect with number 8. Marty loses a point. You guys feel free to tackle number 8 again. I will let you both know because you both had an attempt at it. It is a Mario game. You just both got it wrong.
Yeah. I mean, we can tell by the castle. What a freaking game it is. Gosh, these other ones I really don't know. I really don't. 9 looks super familiar to me, but
yeah, same here.
It's
every single one's pretty recognizable. There isn't any weird games on here.
Yeah, I know. Like they all do look recognizable, but I'm gonna say number 6 is Gran Turismo.
Number 6 is Gran Turismo. Joe takes another point.
Oh, well done.
Marty?
I'm going to take a guess at 3. I'm going to go for Tomb Raider.
Number 3 is not Tomb Raider. Marty gets his 2nd strike. Joe, you're up.
Oh, so I was gonna guess 3 too, and I thought it was Predator. Do I have to say 4?
Lock it in, Joe?
Yeah, I'll lock it in.
Number 3 is not Predator. Joe gets another strike. So we're at 2 strikes apiece. Marty is leading 6. Joe is on 4 points. It's still anyone's game. Marty, you're up.
I'm going to try 3 again, and I'm going to go with Uncharted.
Number 3 is Uncharted. Marty, take it.
Yes.
Nice.
Joe, you're up.
Oh, I'm done. I don't know these other ones. Like, I feel like I should know 5 for sure too. Like 5 is driving me bananas.
Yeah.
Like that one
Give
looks.
8 another go. You ain't.
Yeah. No, I don't want to give 8 another go. I don't know. I don't know that artwork. I really don't. It's probably like a advanced game or some shit. I feel like I should know 3. Like I really should. Like I've seen.
No, 3's already been done.
I mean 5. I'm sorry, 5 is the one I'm staring at. 5 is the one like I feel like I should 100% know what that is.
I mean, you do know it.
I do. I've seen it. 7, I really have no clue. That looks really generic.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is. And 9 looks super familiar too, but it's like just like killing me. Like 9 is like, oh man, I know it. It's so iconic with that like that painting style. But
yeah,
is that California Games? I'm gonna say 9 is
No.
California Games. Yeah.
9 is not California, James. Joe is now locked out. Marty,
And I lose.
you're up.
Keep going, buddy.
We've got number
So
5.
it's only 5, 8, and 9. I've
8
got.
and 9.
7 we haven't done either.
I'm gonna go for 5. Probably wrong, but Ori.
Incorrect. So the scores end up on Marty 6, Joe 4, and the missing one.
Congratulations,
So
friend.
number 5 was Super Metroid.
No way.
So look how much stuff is
I
missing.
did not. Yeah, I did
Yeah.
not see that.
Number 7
Yeah.
was Mortal Kombat.
Oh my god.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
is tough because the logo took up a lot of it.
Yeah, there's so much
Yeah.
missing.
Number 8, you're both going to kick yourselves. Super Mario
my
64.
God.
That would have been my next guess if you said you were like when you were like guess that again. I would have said 64.
I've tried to push you in there.
But
And number 9
that's-
was
I
Crazy
was thinking that
Taxi.
too. That was one of my first
No
guesses
way.
for that. I was like, damn it. I was thinking that or like Jet Set Radio or something like that. I'm like, I know it's from that era, like Dreamcast-y time period. I just couldn't.
Marty, congratulations. You're this week's winner.
Woo!
Whee! Thank
Very
you.
nice.
Thanks for playing, guys. And for Mel and Sylvan, thanks so much. That final round is pretty fun, so we'll be keeping that one for sure.
Stupid crazy frog.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
And well done to Jason and Ben.
Well, at least you
guys
finally get
did
annoyed
well.
by it.
I know. Now I can go
Your
home
turn.
and look it up. I'll be the only cultured American who's like, I know what the crazy frog is. Seriously, I'm getting all these weird European people like, you know an awful lot about PAL stuff. I'm like, yeah, I didn't have. It was involuntary.
Hey, Marty, I had another question from chat that was really good about video game testing for Sony. The Gay Charlie asks, are the hardest difficulties in video games fully tested?
Yes. Yeah. Basically, it's that's part of the test plan. You do it in easy, you do it on medium, you do it on hard. There you go. So yeah,
Does the
always
super hard difficulty team have the highest suicide rate, or?
Well, you've got to remember, you play these games so much, you become an expert at every game. So every difficulty, everyone eventually can do the hardest settings. Did you know? Here's an interesting fact.
Yeah.
You know, Battletoads, the US version on the NES.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually impossible to complete in 2-player mode. There's a level later on which crashes the game in 2-player mode, but none of the testers in America actually got that far to test if it works. So the American version of Battletoads is broken.
I love it. Hey, but I had another question. You were talking about when you were working, you were doing 4 days on, 4 days off. I thought to myself, were you still playing video games on your days off? Like, were you still loving playing games all the time?
Yeah. At first, you kind of change the way you play the games. So you start accidentally testing things, start running into walls, just checking, I wonder if I can break it this way or something. But then But I mean, it depends on the person. Some people, they used to say to me, "Oh no, I couldn't touch a game when I go home. No, I've been playing all day," you know. But for me, it was different. Playing a game and testing is completely different. Testing is boring. Playing at home is fun. Simple as that.
Nice. Yeah, I'm honestly a little bit in envy. Like, it sounds like a job that would be enjoyable. Like, even those games that you're doing, like SingStar, or the same game for a minute for 38 hours, like constantly, like the payoff and getting to play like games that haven't been released would be worth it for me, I would say.
Well, because once you start getting used to it, it's not such a big deal anymore, and especially when you're just getting turd games that no one's going to hear about anyway. It's not really something you can say, "Hey, I worked on that," because no one.
Did you test Charlie's Angels on the PS2?
Oh, I have played some dross though, some really bad ones.
Those are probably some of your fondest memories, though. Like the most broken games, the worst experiences. I bet I remember those better, like, than anything. Just be like, I remember this one game. Oh my god.
Well, yeah. I suppose it's the most mind-numbing thing. It's like a torture test, really. Think about it. SingStar, just staring at music videos that aren't videos all day, and you're not even singing because you're in an office. Yeah. You're in an office, so they're not expecting you to sing in front of everyone. So you're not playing the game; you're just staring at music.
When you earlier, where you were like, I had to play this game for like 1 minute at a time, 5 days a week for 7. I'm like, that sounds like one of those new creative torture techniques they came up with in Guantanamo, where they're trying to skirt the rules. They're like, well, it's not that. It's not really torture, but it is torture.
That's it. It is a mind game sometimes, because you're clock watching. You think, I just can't wait for this day to be over. And I think it's pretty much universal that in games testing. In my second in submissions, when we used to get games in, so it used to be fun if I had time to complete a game that had just come out. That's what people expect regular testing is. But I was in a unique position that Liverpool was the only office accepting all submissions from every company, so that's why I could sometimes get really decent games to play just before release, and sometimes I'd have time to actually complete them. So that was really cool. But generally, testing, you don't get that opportunity in any other studio.
Nice. Sounds like the Liverpool studio was the place to work at for sure. Hey, Matty, I know you also brought a bunch of stuff to show us for the show. So would you like to bring some of that stuff out?
Sure. I just remembered you mentioning you asked someone on another show, like, have you bought anything recently? So I thought I'd just show you the most recent purchase that I bought, which is, I'm a bit of a Battletoads fan. So I decided I wanted to get every version of Battletoads that had been released. And there was one final one that...
Were you that guy calling all the stores? I'm just kidding.
But one game that I had on my eBay watch... I had one game on the eBay watch list for a few years, and it never came up. And I'd never actually seen a physical copy of it, so I wasn't sure if it existed. But finally, I did get the Amiga 500 version.
Oh, that's cool.
Of Battletoads. Oh, it's a bit blurry. There we go.
That artwork,
yeah, it's in mint condition as well.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, 2 discs sitting loosely inside. But yeah, it was a brilliant addition because I love Battletoads, and I didn't think I wasn't sure if this really existed. But unfortunately, really cool. It's absolutely turd.
I can't imagine the Amiga was the powerhouse.
It's way worse than the NES version. Way worse. It's trying to be that, but you've got one button to do everything. Oh, and also on the sound select screen, you have to choose between sound effects and music. You can't have them both.
Let's go.
So these kids these days don't know how good they got it.
Yeah,
they got sound effects and music.
And audio. Oh my god.
And two, but they got more than one button. Oh my goodness.
And the gameplay is awful as well. You think the NES version's hard. This game, oh my god, I couldn't even get halfway through the first level. It's insane. So what I'm going to do to get a playthrough of that, I'm not going to play that properly. I've recently bought an Amiga Mini, and you can play all. You can just stick all the games on a USB stick and just play them. You don't have to mod it at all. So I've got all the games on a USB stick, and I'll play Battletoads that way. And that version of Battletoads is the cracked version, which also has an Infinite Lives cheat on it that you can select at the beginning. So I think I'm going to have to cheat on that. It's that unplayable that I can't see any human finishing it legit. It's awful.
Yeah, those are the only mini things I haven't picked up. Is all those cool? They came out with like the mini Z Spectrum or whatever, and then the mini Amiga. Those little mini PC ones. Those are the only ones I don't have, because that's very European. You guys got like tons of those, and over in America we got like just like the Atari, dude, the Coleco. It's like, oh, we
really.
So I'm sure that we got more. We got the Intellivision, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there probably mad that I'm saying that, but we didn't get all the tons of different little mini PCs that you guys got for sure.
You mean you didn't import every version and every variant? They all got different boxes too, so it's like.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I bought the Nintendo ones, but there's no point in me opening them because I play the originals.
Yeah, you have a full PAL set. What the heck would you need that
for? Exactly. But the Amiga one is a godsend, really, because discs. I don't know if any of the games work anymore. I've got the Amiga, but the magnetic tapes, the floppy disks, they don't last. They're probably all dead. I don't know, and I don't really want to try because it's the output as well is aerial. It's not like by SCART or anything. It's the RF cable that plugs into your TV.
With the prongs, like literally like the prongs with the screws. Is it that old?
I don't know what version.
Or are you talking about like the cable US. RF?
Just the RF cable that goes into the TV.
Yeah, so that's regular RF. I don't know what the heck they used to call it. The old Ataris, they didn't even come with RF. They were like, some of them, like you had this box and you had like these forked metal prongs and they were screws. It was like for hooking up like an antenna on your TV.
I see what you mean.
And you had to like take the prongs and put them in the screws and screw them in. That's how old I am, dudes. That's how my gaming started.
I'm like, I know what these guys are doing.
And then you'd have the box would have a switcher on it for channel 3 or channel 4, and you had to put it on the right channel.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. I was an Intellivision guy as a kid.
Nice, dude.
So, I had console.
Yeah, we had a Coleco and an Atari 2600. No, man, I loved it.
Yeah, Coleco never made it to the Europe, I don't think.
Coleco was dope.
We hardly know anything about
really nice colors. It really did look. It was great compared to the 2600. I thought so.
Yeah, Donkey Kong's on that, isn't it? There's a version of Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I think Donkey Kong. I remember playing Popeye. I liked. I think Congo Bongo. I think was a ColecoVision game. I love that game too.
That sounds right. Yeah, that sounds.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Right. Oh, do you want me to show you any?
Yeah, let's keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. So possibly the rarest game on the Wii U, other than Black Chest. This is how I knew Pavel, actually. I thought I had completed my Wii U collection, all sealed and all that. I was done. I was happy with it. Hey, I've done it. All PAL releases. And then Pavel slides into my inbox and says, "Hey, did you know this existed?" And he shows me Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, the Russian big box version. And I said, "Well, no, I didn't know this existed." He said, "Yeah, it's legit. Nobody in the European forums and stuff knew this existed."
Pavel.
We all had a list of every game, and no one knew this.
Do you have this?
Sitting there making him in his basement. No, I'm just
kidding. So it's got a poster and it's got stickers inside. Pavel he hoarded the only copies he could get in Russia. I believe he got about 3 or 4, and kept them secret. Yeah, nobody knew they existed. So then it was a bit of a pricing war between all the big collectors. And I didn't actually pay for it because I just didn't have the money for it, because that was just about the time where the prices of games were going up. But someone else, I got some other rare game and did a swap with someone else who got it off Pavel, and but that's how we managed it in the end, and I got it at an affordable price.
That's how you got to do it for the expensive stuff, man. I tell everybody, it's all about trading at that point. You're like, all right, things worth $1,000. Well, I'll give you these 4 things worth $250.
Yeah. I was lucky.
You're selling things to be able to buy other things.
Yeah, I was lucky in finding probably the 3rd rarest game on the Wii U. The PAL version is Lego Movie. No, Lego. Is it the movie? Yeah. Yes. Lego Movie Limited Edition. It was an Amazon exclusive, a German Amazon exclusive, and that is so rare. And I already had a copy, and just by luck, it popped up on eBay, but sold by someone who didn't have a clue what the price was, and they sold it for £40. And after I just paid $400 for my copy.
I would have just bought that one too.
Yeah, I did, and that's what I swapped with another collector who was desperate for it, and he bought Pavel's version for me.
There you go. Yep.
So
that's how you did it. That's how you got to do it. Yep.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I was lucky. I just
did this. Same thing. I have there was like a pretty expensive 3DS game that I already owned, and somebody put a copy up on eBay for like $25. I'm like, I'm just buying that because I could flip that for like 80, no problem. So I'm just buying it.
Yeah.
I gotta, so sometimes you just gotta.
Yeah.
I ain't mad about it. And then you can switch out the stuff and get the nicest thing, get the perfect art, the cleanest cart, the best label. You get all this stuff, and then sell the other. I don't know. I do that a lot.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's definitely worth it to. When you see a bargain, you can make some money. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but sometimes, like you said, it's like you get mad because you're like, I paid so much more than that. I'm like, well, it's the only way. The only way I'm not gonna be mad is if I buy this cheap one too, and then I flip it. Even, and that's all. Psychologically, I'm like, okay, now
evens these. Yeah. Okay, so my 3rd and final object. This is cool. I got it from Sony. This is a PS3 prototype controller.
Whoa,
that
cool.
Is really cool.
How cool it is.
It's got like the Cro-Magnon forehead.
So real, it's that it's the raised bit there. That's the difference in it. It's wired. It's wireless, but it doesn't work. But it's also got some sticker on there saying this is. I'll read it out. This device has not been authorized as required by the rules of the Federal Communications Commission. Yada yada, but just some legal stuff saying, this is not for sale, basically.
That is so cool, dude.
And I haven't shown this before. This has just been sitting in my games room. So,
I feel like I'm crazy, but I feel like the buttons on the right are farther apart than normal too. Like maybe I'm completely just making that up.
Yeah, I'll compare it with I think you're right. But compare it with a PS4, I'm sure they wouldn't have made any changes.
I just feel like those buttons are spaced out more than normal.
I think you're right.
Yeah, see how wide that is between the circle and the square? Yo, see, my Tekken brain's like, yo, I don't know if I can do my combos with that thing, dude. I don't know what's up with that. Why is this so wide?
It might be like a 0.5 millimeter or 1 millimeter.
Yeah, dude. That's how you know I'm a hardcore nerd, man.
Then there's the analog button. I don't think did they remove the analog button in the end? I think
no, it's on the PS3 controllers.
Is it?
I think so. Yeah.
But not the DualShock 3. Am I right in saying that, or is it still on all of them?
No, I haven't got one next to me.
I don't know. But it's the most pointless button in game controller history.
Yeah. Button that doesn't work.
Yeah, and no one knows what it. I've forgotten what it does. Is it for the analog actual buttons, or is it for the analog sticks?
I've got no idea. I had a controller once, and it said turbo for that button, so who knows?
So yeah, that's how good that function was.
God, I never really thought about what the hell is that button for. There's got to be some games where you have to need it for something. It's got to be like an option.
No, I'm sure it's just to turn off. It's either to turn off the analog sticks or turn off the analog, because did you know that the buttons are actually analog buttons, so like they're pressure sensitive. So they're not just click buttons like normal controllers. They're pressure sensitive, but they never use them. But you're supposed to be able to like accelerate more, on Gran Turismo or something. You're supposed to choose your acceleration instead of having full throttle on every time you press the button. You could gently
ease into it.
The PS5 controller actually is how it has that.
Really? So they copied off their old tech.
Adaptive triggers or something it's called. It'll make it really like hard to pull the accelerator in games where you're going like 200 km an hour and things like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, what did they do on the Xbox? The Xbox 360 controls have the bumpers, don't they? They're all the way analog, aren't they? You don't just tap there's the L2s and R2s off the Xbox. What they call the triggers? What they call the triggers? Yeah,
adaptive
LZ or something.
L and R triggers.
Oh.
So it's like L2 and R2, but they're not buttons, are they? They go all the way in. They've got on their own springs, kind of thing. So you can accelerate gently with those. That's been like a feature for a long time with Xbox.
Joe, have you got any new pickups to show us this week?
I surprisingly, I do. Sorry, you have more, Marty?
Sorry. I thought he was speaking to me.
No,
I'm done. I'm done anyway. So yeah, please go ahead.
All right, yeah. So I got a whole bunch of crap in the last 2 days showed up, surprisingly. Usually, like, it's dry between the Thursday, Saturday episode because it's been like 48 hours. I'm like, I haven't gotten a bunch of pickups. It's been like an hour. Anyway, so I got this one. This will be like Figsy named this game. I don't know how I'm going to do on this one. It's Getsu Fumadin, Undying Moon.
Whoa. What is that?
So this was released only, I believe, through limited run. It's a Konami game, and it's kind of like a Castlevania type game. I don't know if you can see that well.
I'm a Castlevania fan.
It is a 2D action game. I don't think it's like Metroidvania. I'm just saying it's like a 2D action type game, but it's got like a really cool stylized artwork. Like it's really cool looking, and yeah, it looks pretty cool. Like I said, and I'm so hungry for a new Castlevania that I'm like, whatever, Konami, I'll buy this as long as if it shows interest in the franchise, if they'll make like a real one, I'll buy it. So yeah, it actually looks really good. Getsu Fumadin, but I don't think it got released on PS4 or anything like that, unfortunately. So it's only on the Switch, as far as I know, physically.
Cool. In regards to limited run, I recently got the Castlevania, the NES box, which I've forgotten which Castlevania it is, but they released the Switch.
The Symphony
Castlevania in a NES box, a special edition. So it looks like one of the NES games. I thought that was quite recent.
They've done some really nice things limited run with Castlevania in the last
Requiem or whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was a PS4 one as well. It was the re-release of the PC Engine one.
Yeah, I think somebody else showed it off recently.
Yeah, I got that one too. I think that's it.
I got this one. I mean, this is the Symphony Night Rondo of Blood Requiem.
It might not be that one actually. It might be different.
They probably have done like multiple ones. Maybe the Castlevania collection. I mean, it wouldn't be surprised because that has the NES games on it. So
I think that's it. I think it's the Castlevania collection that I had. Yeah, because it never got a physical release. It was just downloadable only until Limited Run picked it up.
Yep, and then they just did the advanced collections too, which I wish that had gotten just a regular retail release, but whatever.
Not 5.
All right, so this game is, I don't think it's gotten a Western release yet, but it looks really badass. I had to pick this up. It's called Grime.
Grime.
So this is the Asian English release, whatever, Chinese, I believe. And it's another, again, I don't think you can see it that well. Tiny little pictures, but it's another 2D action game.
Oh, cool.
I am, again, pretty obsessed with this genre. I really like the 2D like games that are really hard, balls to the wall, like either Castlevania or Dead Cells or Blasphemous or any of that type of stuff, like any of those games. And
yeah, same here. I love a good 2D.
Yeah, my cat's screaming.
Yeah.
No.
I'll tell you one thing that annoys me about
I can't hear you guys if you're talking.
Oh, can you not hear me?
I can hear you both. So.
Are you guys talking?
Oh,
yeah, I lost my audio.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I was just going to say, I agree with you. I like I love the old
can you
2D.
Hear me?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
All right, I'm going to restart real quick because I can't hear anything.
Okay.
Nice.
So but I'm a.
Well, Marty, I haven't asked you yet, and for everyone watching, what's your YouTube channel so everyone can go and give you a subscription?
Right, yeah. So my YouTube channel is Retro2VR, and that is where I just have gameplay videos of every console you can think of. Because I've got the collection, I've got such a big collection, about 4,000 games big. So I just want to go through them rather than just collecting. I want to play through them all as much as I can, and I've decided to put all my gameplay videos on YouTube. But they're usually completions, and it's quite fun because you don't know what you're going to get next. I have a video on daily, and you'll have no idea what console is going to come up. It could be something modern, it could be something very old, and that's why my name is Retro2VR, because VR is kind of like the last gaming, the last version of gaming really is at the top end. That's the future, VR and retro. So it's just the name that says I'm covering everything, retro, whatever I want to play. I'm not playing a game specifically because someone says play this, or hey, you could get a load if you play Minecraft or something, get a load of views. No, I'm not interested in that. I just want to play my games and get some more videos out there, because a lot of the old console games, there aren't many gameplay completion videos of them.
You're right there. Like there'll be 3 or 4 videos up for one game. It's like, oh my god.
That's it. And sometimes a lot of them as well, they use save states. They use emulators and save states. There's no real playthroughs. So that's what I do. I do a real playthrough, no cheats. And I could count on one hand how many times I've actually had to cheat because the game's been too hard. But that's it. Original hardware, no cheats, full playthrough. And I will edit them as well because it's my first playthrough usually. I'm not an expert at the game, so if I've got multiple deaths, for example, if it's a game with unlimited credits or something, I'm not going to show you every time I died. I'm just going to cut that out. I'm just going to put the full level that's been completed, because some games could, a 30-minute game could have a 4-hour video. So it's not viewer friendly.
Yeah, there's some games that I've spent many hours on one level.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
I was the same as Marble Madness that I was telling you about earlier. Marble Madness 2 that got the prototype got released. I had to play that on an emulator, and it was fine. You had infinite continues all the way until the last level, and when I got to the last level, I didn't have enough time, so I was allowed to continue. But once, for some reason, they just decided to be bastards and said, right, you can only have one go of the last level, and the time they gave you was incredibly tight, and I just couldn't do it in one go. I had to keep save stating. I didn't know how to save state on what I was playing it on at first, but the whole game was 30 minutes, and then the last level I spent an hour on, just redoing over, loading the save state, and in the end, I had to save state after each section. Just right. I did it perfectly. Now I can save, because I could never do each section perfectly because the controls are, Marble Madness. And and they don't actually control as well as the original NES version.
Really cool. I appreciate the save states. That sounds so very Japanese. That's what I'm talking about, like the shmup design, where it's like the whole game is really the last level.
Yeah,
They're like, this is all fun and games, but if now we're being serious. You want to beat this game,
and you only get one chance.
You want to beat this game? It's going to be real tough.
and that's the majority of the shmups I've been playing lately. It's like, oh, I can do this. Hey, I might be able to do this in one go. And then last level, of course, impossible.
Yeah,
you're not getting through
I've spent, like you said, I've gotten games and been like, oh, I'm going to beat this game in a day. And then I get to the last level and spend like a month on it. Yeah.
And there's been a few games where they've had infinite continue, so I'd keep grinding. But I'd just feel after a few hours of grinding on the same level, I'd get a lucky run. It'd always be like, oh, I got that power up by chance. It just spawned.
Yeah, you get an extra free guy pops out of nowhere. You're like, oh yeah, that's all I needed, baby.
Really, like a screen-filling weapon. A screen-filling weapon. It's like,
hey guys, I'm
good
now. You guys continue.
All right. Oh no, I got a. What'd you say?
He says he's just jumping out, so
okay.
Continue talking. So go on.
Okay.
What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say. Let me finish on one of my pickups. Let me go with my pickups. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 more. All right, real quick. So I got Death Wish Enforcers. This is another limited run game release. It is like a 2D beat 'em up sort of, but you use guns. Like you have lots of guns and stuff, so you walk around and you shoot stuff. It's really badass looking artwork. It's kind of like looks like 70s themed, I guess is the way I describe it. Like almost like the Warriors gives me the vibes of like that type of sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of. It just looked really cool. And it was one of those, like, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh yeah, hell yeah, I got to buy that. Like, no choice. It just looks really cool. This is hilarious.
Yeah. They seem to be releasing a lot of these games, don't they? These 16-bit inspired platform shooters or slashers. I'll tell you one thing that's annoying me about these games is the difficulty is different to the old games in the sense that because they know you can just continue, because they're very fair with continues, aren't they? Checkpoints. You've basically got infinite continues on these types of games and fair checkpoints, but they make some bits so hard. And I find specifically the end bosses, they do these like 3-tier bosses, which are just insane, and you have to play over and over and over. And you've already nailed, you know how to do the first and second boss easily, but you've done it hundreds of times, and they force you to do it over and over and over. So they really annoy me. This new style of thing, last bosses basically.
Yeah, and that's the mental fortitude part, like the dedication. Like if you're gonna beat a game like that, you have to put yourself through that.
Yeah.
All right, so I got this one I bought on accident. Hilariously, I actually own this on PS5, but for some reason I forgot that I own this on PS5, so I rebought it on PS4. So now I have it on both.
It's both, is it 1 and 2?
Yeah, so in Japan, for some reason, they get better versions of everything than we get over here. So this is 1 and 2 on one disc instead of having all the separate releases that you got. So so there's run. Like I said, I already own that.
Better value.
I forgot. I literally, when I saw that came in, I was like, oh, that's hilarious. So this I've wanted forever, but this is the Azar Gunvolt Striker Pack 3. So this got released in the West by limited run on the Switch, but they didn't do a PS4 version. So the PS4 version only got released in Asia. So they have Asian, Chinese, English, more like the other one with the Chinese English, but that one's kind of hard to get. It's a little more expensive. So I picked up the Japanese copy because they both have English. So the only difference is if you really want the Asian English one, it will say like the cover in English, and like the spine will be in English. So that's why it's a little more sought after, but whatever. I mean, I want the game.
And is it a shoot 'em up? Or?
It's very Mega Man like, actually. So it's like a 2D inspired Mega Man type game. A little different mechanically, obviously, and like game design wise. But if you're into, like you said, you really like Mega Man, this series is really fun. Started out on the 3DS as our Azor Striker Gunvolt is the first one, and then 2 came out. as like a pack on the Switch. They have 1 and 2 on the Switch, and that's 3 that just came out.
I think I have that Azure Striker on the Switch in my 2 playlist somewhere. So yeah, I'll give that a go. There's so many good shoot 'em ups right now. I just recently started playing. Last night I started playing. Oh, I realized that there's a load of Darius games as well on the Switch.
On
I
Unreal.
just realized I've got 3 Darius games just sitting to be played on my Switch. Yeah, they seem to be new ones as well. Because I recently did the second one on the Sega Saturn. Oh, and I've got to say that was insanely hard. Insane. It took me. That was real practice. That was like 7-8 hours of practice. Just the last level again. Always the last level. Just so many bullets flying.
Yeah.
I did the Mega Drive Genesis version a couple of months later, and that was so much easier. I did it, in one sitting. I think it was my first go, actually.
That's so funny because, like, some people will be like, "I remember that game. That was easy. What are you talking about?" And some people are like, "What are you talking about? It was so hard." But there's like that's many different versions of it. Yeah, Darius 2. That was, gosh, I think when I saw that in the arcade. I used to have like a 2-screen version. Yeah,
it's widescreen.
Yeah.
So the Saturn version, they squash it. So it's about a third of the screen. The whole level is about a third of the screen, and the rest is just black borders. And you can zoom in and out with the L and R buttons, but the Mega Drive is fixed in a 4:3 display, zoomed in. But for some reason, that is easier.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. It's just being a little nerf version. A lot of it's funny too because a lot of stuff released in the West, they made it easier on purpose because they felt like Americans were like not going to be able to handle that, and they're probably right. So, but yeah, I remember I saw that arcade that blew me away when I was a little kid with the 2 screens. I remember, and I was like a little. I was pretty young. I was probably like 9 or 8 or something like that. And there was an older kid who was like a teenager who was playing it. He was like really good at it. And I just remember being like I was a little kid, so like dodging the bullets at all was impossible. So just to see this guy flying around wrecking this game, I was like, this is incredible. That was like probably when my interest in shmups started was that day watching that guy play. Like, I can't believe someone can do this. Like,
I think that of all arcade games, I mean, every arcade game I play, I think this is just unplayable. Last night I was playing Konami Arcade Classics on the Switch.
That's hard. All of those games are hard as hell.
And I started doing Castlevania. I thought it's called Haunted Castle. That's the arcade version of Castlevania. I thought, right, this will be cool. Like, I want to do all the Castlevania games. And I play through it. I had infinite credits I could put in. I thought, okay, that's fair enough. I can stop.
It doesn't matter.
Start again. I'll do that. I've got the patience. But it turns out you were only allowed to die 3 times, and you'd have to start from the beginning. And it's insanely difficult as well. And so in the end, I just have to save state constantly. Save state, get a bit further, save state, load, save, load. And this makes video editing an absolute nightmare.
Dude, I believe it.
Yeah, instead of just hitting record for the whole thing, it's just every single bit I've got to work out, every part. But it was the only way I could do it. They're just so badly designed arcade games just to take your money and not be fair at all.
True.
It's pretty much every arcade game. I can't think of any I could just do without infinite credits or save states.
Even then, like Gradius, especially, those games like are like, you know,
oh my God,
you die in the wrong spot, you're just not recovering.
Yeah,
you're not going to get the power-ups to be able to beat the game. It's like I felt like that way on R-Type, and sometimes it's like you got to just beat the whole game without dying. If you die, just start the whole game over, because without the power-ups, everything is so much harder. Like, it's just
checkpoints don't matter. Checkpoints don't matter.
They're actually bad. Because I would rather start at the beginning of the level, because then I can at least build up my stuff by the time I get to the boss. Once you start me in the middle of the level and there's 2 power-ups before the boss, even if I survive the absolute shitstorm to the end of the boss, I have like 1 power-up instead of being fully powered up with all my missiles and all my stuff and half the screens being cleared.
It's absolutely imperative.
Yeah.
And that brings me up upon my, I sound like a right cheater there, but that's the 3rd game that I actually use the cheat on in past, I don't know, 15 years or something.
Mm.
The third game was Gradius 3 on the PS2. So it's a collection of old
3 and
Gradius
4
games.
or
But
whatever.
I did 3, and I got to a level where exactly what you said. Once you lose your power-ups, it's impossible from the checkpoint. So I'd have to put in a cheat. You pause it and press a button combination, and you could get all your weapons back. So that, and it was still insanely hard. I think I had infinite continues anyway because they just gave it to you. But every time I'd start, put the cheat in, and still die. It was. I don't think I'd ever be able to complete that game without cheats.
No,
it's so insane.
No, and that's fine too. Like, and that's when I said I'm not about cheating or whatever. But like, on some games, like you said, they were designed to be impossible. So whatever, I'm not worried about it. You like they are like, it's just so hard, and like it's cheap too. Like it literally is cheap. There'll be spots of it where stuff will come up from the back of the screen, the side of the screen, behind the screen, 30, and your ship moves 2 miles an hour and the bullets go 400 miles an hour. It's like, what do you want me to do? That's not fair. It's like, all right, I got one more pickup real quick. I'm going to show. So this is my last thing. So this, I don't know if anybody likes Final Fantasy Tactics. This game I'd actually recommend it. It's called Cross Tales.
Right.
It's one of the only Kemco games I would ever actually recommend. But this is actually a pretty good game. It's pretty much like Final Fantasy Tactics. The graphics are actually good. Doesn't look like it's cheap. It's a quality game. And again, I don't think it got a standard Western release. This is an Asian release, so it has no region code on it or whatever. But then if you look in the back, it does have Japanese and English. I don't know if that's going to focus, but it does have Japanese in full English.
Cool.
So yeah, I just recommend it. It's called Cross Tales.
So is the PS5 region free?
Yes. Yep.
Is the PS4?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, PS4 and PS5 fully region free. You can collect from anywhere in the world. You just got to worry about whether or not it's in English. The only thing you want to know about is if you buy a game and it has voucher codes or whatever, you need to have an account for that region. So that's the only thing. So if you buy a PAL game and it comes with download codes and you try to log in your US account and use the code, it won't work. You have to actually have a UK account. So I have I have an American account, I have a UK account, and I have a Japanese account. And I have you can download them all in the same PlayStation and play all your games, no problem. But you have to switch users to play on the right file or whatever.
Yeah, because I remember I was at a conference in Sony. They had some big conference where they invited everyone to stay over the night somewhere, which was pretty cool. But it was the only one I ever attended. But they had everyone that worked at Sony, and they had a stage, and they just spoke about what the future plans were. And one of their plans was to basically have a worldwide release structure. So they wouldn't release a game first in Japan, then America, then Europe. Every game would be released simultaneously. They also wanted to move our testing all together as well, so they'd all be one region basically. So I think there was worries there, thinking that they get rid of the European testing if they could just have one place to test all the regions. But actually, they started outsourcing testing to India.
Big surprise. Everything else in the world.
Yeah. And they weren't so good though. They gave them the PSP and PS2 games that they couldn't be bothered with anymore. But yeah, they didn't seem to be very good. But then again, they haven't been doing it so long.
That's fair too.
It takes a long time to get your stride together. I know some of our lot went to India to try and train them. But when we'd have to check their bugs afterwards, there's some of them, I just remember them just being ridiculous. Kind of just too much, that's not a bug. That's meant to be like that, or just really badly written. So you didn't how do I do this step? How do I
Yeah, how you recreate this? Are you sure?
Yeah. I'll tell you something else interesting since we get
Sure.
in case we run out of topics. Behind me, I've got a massive Zelda collection. So this isn't my games room where I am now. I've got a cabinet, but I've got every Zelda game behind me.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. And I've got
out of all the types of people I've met throughout the years who collect games, I feel like Zelda collectors and Pokemon collectors are the two most passionate groups of people. Where, like, if they're into it, you'll have everything. It's like you got it. It's like if you're into Zelda, like, and what's great too is there's a lot to get, especially if you're into like getting all the third-party accessories and hats and shirts and cups and
that's it. In the end,
just oh my goodness, how much Zelda.
In the end, I had to streamline because these cabinets behind me, they're just absolutely rammed full of Zelda stuff.
I believe
and so I had to just start. I decided, right, no more Zelda tat. They're in a box in the attic now.
Yeah,
I'm only getting games, guidebooks, amiibos,
official licensed products.
Yeah. Oh, consoles as well. Consoles.
Yeah, I want the 3DSs bad. One of my mistakes that I regret is I had one of the 3DSs and I traded it in a big trade once. I kind of want it back. That's okay.
Yeah, mine's behind me, sealed. I've got two 3DSs, I think. The XL.
Yep, they have the Majora's Mask XL, and then they have the regular 3DS. That was not
one, And
no, they both XL, I think, but one was the new and one was the regular.
Yeah. So there's 4 3DSs if you include the 2DS.
If you go back to
Arena.
Yeah, that's true too. They do have a few. Yeah, there's a lot of Zelda stuff. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
do a whole episode on that. So
yeah, could do. There's that much to go through.
Figsy, he's not gonna be able to come back. He's got some other stuff to do, so we're probably gonna wrap up the show. So, but
no worries.
Another time for sure. We can go we should do a Zelda episode because I bet you could probably do an entire episode showing off your Zelda collection. I bet
probably
So that'd be fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff to show.
Maybe that'd be an idea, so we could do something like that.
So, yeah, sure. I'll be open to that.
But I just want to say thanks for very much coming on, dude. I had a lot of fun. And
definitely to meet you, Joe, and I had a good time too.
Yeah, and chat. Thanks for hanging out and enjoying the show. Great job on the quiz.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
We will
follow my channel too, please, if you like
that's right.
Obscure gaming videos.
Yep, and then once we post this in the chat, we'll put links into the YouTube channel as well to your stuff.
Cool.
Awesome.
Excellent.
So thanks, guys. Hope you have a great rest of your night, everybody. Take it
Thank
easy.
you. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.